All right, guys, we're going to move it into my favorite segment of the week, Matt's Round the League Recap. Take it away, brother.
Hi, guys. Well, it was a pretty exciting week in a couple ways.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's start with the force bets. This week, Nathan cheered for the Browns, the Panthers, the Chargers, while he had all the rest of us cheering for the Arizona Redbirds. Nobody lost. So boring week. Still Nate up 620 on the pack. But yeah, it's getting harder, I'll be honest. You know, because you can only use every team once. As it gets farther and farther in the season, you use a lot of your easy ones. Although I tried not to. I tried to use, great teams that you thought were going to lose. But, so that's getting more and more difficult. So then, actually, in this section right now, I would like to bring Nate back in.
All right.
Because I would like to break down some of these trades. There has been a lot in Dynasty. There's been some in the regular league also. But Nate, I hope you got your stats ready because I didn't write it down. Let's go through it.
I got you, brother.
Thank you.
So first of all, before we talk about any of the trades that happened, I want to correct myself on something. I want to retract the F grade that I gave to Joe. I know I alluded to it a little bit in the thread, but I'm being honest, Joe. I'm speaking directly to you. Where's my camera? Right after we filmed that segment, I was thinking about it and I felt bad for giving Joe an F. I think he razzed me a little bit in the thread that day.
He did.
Saying that, can we get somebody else to do these trade analyzers? Nate just talks about himself, yada, yada, which I'm sure is true. But I think I let him get under my skin a little bit. And, I gave him that F grade. I want to say this, though, definitively. I don't think you can ever give somebody an F for a trade. I don't think that's a fair grade to give for a trade because all we're doing is guessing here, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when you show up at the draft, you're guessing that Jefferson's going to score more than Kupp, right?
Yeah.
When you make a trade, you're guessing. When you pick up guys off waiver wire, you're guessing. And, sometimes your guesses are wrong. Sometimes they're right. Joe made a guess. He thinks CeeDee Lamb's value is maybe peaked and that he's not as good as the first rounder he's going to get next year. We don't know whether his guess is wrong or right. So I can't give him an F. All I can say is I wouldn't have done that trade. So.
Wow. It really sounds like Adam has rubbed off on you this week. Everything's chaos. Everything's a guess. We don't know anything. I mean, that was like a little mini fucking Adam speech right there. I like it.
Hey, listen, that being said, I continue to be perplexed by Joseph's dynasty strategy. Last week he traded CeeDee Lamb, a 23-year-old wide receiver, so that you could get a first-round pick, right?
Yeah.
This week he trades a first-round pick to get a
27-year-old. I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't get the strategy.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And, last week I gave you guys the stat that the peak age for wide receivers, they've looked at the numbers going all the way back like 30 years. The peak age for wide receiver one is between 23 and 29. I shared with you last week. I looked it up for peak age for running back. It's much smaller, as you guys know. It's only a 3-year window.
Yeah.
RB1, 75% of RB1s in the last 30 years have been between the ages of 24 and 26. Okay.
Wow.
Of course, there's outliers. Always outliers.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson.
Of course. But you want to get running backs before they hit that peak age, 24, and you want to trade them when they get to that peak age, right? Joe's buying an RB that's 27 years old right after he traded a first round pick to get get rid of his 22-year-old. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Clearly Dalvin has some juice left.
Yeah,
as evidenced by the 28-point game that he put up a couple weeks ago. But I don't think anybody would argue he's not the same player that he was 2 years ago before all those injuries.
Yeah.
Listen, he's a popular trade target. I tried to get Sean to trade him to me, but I'm gunning for a championship. And Joe, he's, 1 week he's a contender. The next week he's a rebuilder. It's confusing to me. So, a little perplexed by that one.
Nate, I would like to, I don't know, I haven't been able to find it yet, but the numbers you put out about wide receivers are 100% accurate. But it's been changing in the last few years. And we get the Jamar Chases and guys who are coming in, starting their rookie year and throwing up big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, if you find these numbers, let me know. In the 30 years ago to 5 years ago, I believe those numbers are right. In the last 5 years, are those still right?
Okay. Yeah,
I would like to know that because, man, these receivers are coming out of college ready to go nowadays. And,
well, Jamar Chase is an outlier. I
was going to say some of them are. Some of them are. I mean, there are a few Chase, Cup,
Jefferson.
How long's Amon Ra been in the league? I mean,
no, Cup. You said Cup, but Cup is not a good example. Cup didn't break out until last year. He was 27 years old.
We didn't break out last year only.
Well, he broke out as an wide receiver 1. We're talking about wide receiver 1s, meaning guys that are in the top 12. Cup's never been a top 12 wide receiver until last year, and I'll fact check myself on that.
Okay.
But I don't believe he ever was a top 12 wide receiver until last year.
In fantasy.
In fantasy, yes.
In fantasy, copy.
Exactly.
Wait, no. I think you're wrong. I think a year prior to that.
Okay. I thought it's been at least. I think it's been at least 2.
High last year.
Yeah,
I think it's not drafted high last year.
He wasn't.
He was not. That I know for a fact. We'll fact checked all of this.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow, he's had so many catches. It seems like it's been more years.
Yeah,
Damn.
Exactly.
Interesting.
There was another trade that happened in Dynasty this week that was also a little bit head scratching, only because of the signals that it's sending out. So Megan goes out there and she trades for CeeDee Lamb, which signaled that, hey, I'm building for my future. Yeah. And she traded that, the first round pick and the second round pick to get him. And then she does the inverse of what Joe did. Then today she traded CeeDee Lamb to get Derrick Henry and Pollard, which listen,
within the house, right? Within the house.
Within the house.
That's tough.
You look at the trade and you look at Megan's roster, you go, okay, Megan's running backs are in trouble. Her best running back was Fournette. He's lost some of his luster and he's a little bit banged up. So I could see her being worried about her running back situation, but it seems to me she's got little regard for her future now, trading the guy that she just acquired for a 28-year-old, Derrick Henry, who again, he's outside that window. He's got maybe like a year left in his tank, right?
But has the best running back matchups the rest of the season. The best schedule for running backs.
Perhaps, yeah.
Not perhaps.
According to Ryan, he's going to be injured anytime soon. So. She did get one young piece in that trade. She got De'Ami Brown, but I think De'Ami Brown has about as many fantasy points as his age.
He's only plays significant role when Dotson is out.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't see
that was I think we have to also question the trades between Bobby and Megan. There's got to be a little extra oversight, I think, because she could easily win those trades easily anytime she wants to. She could just
From what I can tell, I think Megan's very interested in winning, and I think she would slit Bobby's throat in a heartbeat if it meant she could win the championship.
That's what I'm saying.
So.
I believe so too.
Megan did make a really good trade, though, in my opinion. She made another trade with Joe just today. She traded a first round and a second round and a fourth round pick, and she got back Kyle Pitts and a third. Now, you might say to yourself, okay, that's not a win now move. Kyle Pitts just got placed on the IR. He's hurt.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we talk about peak age for positions. The peak age for a tight end is between 25 and 27. Okay. Kyle Pitts is a guy that came into the league. He was expected to be a generational talent, somebody that they're saying we've never seen a tight end with this type of athleticism before. Now, granted, he hasn't had a great year this year. He's got some quarterback problems, but Atlanta is going to be in position to draft a stud quarterback next year. Kyle Pitts turns 23 next year. He hasn't even hit that peak age yet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we could be looking at 10 years of Kyle Pitts dominance, and Megan just traded a first and a second round, and she got a third round back for that trade. So I would give Megan an A+ for that one. Yeah. I feel the same way about that trade as I feel about her trade for CeeDee Lamb. Going out there and getting young pass catchers, building from the ground up. But again, what are you doing, Megan? You're trading for old running backs and young receivers. It's a little confusing. Is
she a contender right now in Dynasty? I haven't even looked.
Sure, she is. She's not.
She goes on a run.
Yeah, she's not currently in the playoffs, but she's tied with the 6th seed. She has the same record.
Okay, so she's making moves to better her team now to try.
And I won't be there. Right now I'm in the playoff hunt, but I mean, you see what happened to my team. Traded my quarter, Brady, and then I got injuries to Ertz, and I got injuries all over. So I will not be. I can guarantee I won't be in the playoffs. So there's a few spots that will be opening up.
Just last week, you guaranteed you were still going to win your divisions.
You're right. You're right. I could be, but a lot.
He's all over the place. He's all over the place.
I hate to pick on Joe, but man, much like Ben's prom date, he's been sending us some mixed signals.
I was going to say non-existent, but all right.
No, Ben.
Ben, did you go to any proms?
I did. I went to my junior year prom.
Junior year. I couldn't remember if you went to one. I knew you were.
Yeah.
And skateboard antisocial. I went.
No, I went to one.
Right.
I went to one.
I'd be interested to have Joe on a future podcast just to defend himself against my criticism, because I mean, I see him trading away 22-year-old tight ends and 23-year-old wide receivers, and in return, he's getting back 27-year-old running backs. Maybe he has a strategy that I'm not familiar with, right? So I'd like to have him come on the pod one of these days and kind of defend himself and explain that to us.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a call-in segment, where we can get some guys to call in or come in to rebut, and give us their opinions.
I would also like to get a question segment going. I want them to send in a question or two a week that we have to respond to.
Oh, that would be fun. That'd be fun. Anyways, go on.
All right, let's talk about the big trade of the week. This one happened in the main league. Okay, we don't talk about main league trades enough, but this one was big enough. It required us to discuss it. And I want to talk about the trade between Alex and Adam, because this one has a lot of layers to it, like an onion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go all the way back. Early in the week, I recognized that Alex had some bye week troubles, right? He had all of his Dolphins on a bye. He's got 2 wide receivers and a running back. And so I started hitting him up and saying, hey, let's make a trade. I'll send you Michael Pittman, something like that. And his response was, Daddy Hollywood is coming back. Okay.
All right.
I text him on Wednesday. I said, Daddy Hollywood's not coming back this week. I said they opened up his practice window, but he's not going to play. And even if he does play, he's not going to play at full speed. You can't count on Daddy Hollywood. I didn't know he had that nickname, by the way. But
I didn't. That's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah. So Alex should have known early in the week not to count on him. And then we kind of forgot about it until Sunday when he texted us at, I believe, 1:05 Pacific time. So the morning games were almost over.
Yep.
One of the afternoon games had already started, and Alex texts us all saying, somebody send me a wide receiver, right? Which I found to be, a little unusual. I started firing out a bunch of phony collusion, right?
Yeah.
Firing it back at him because he likes to do that to me. I honestly don't think there was any collusion. I think maybe just laziness, or maybe he got busy during the week, forgot to go back and look. Didn't see it until it was too late. But, here's the crazy part is that Adam bails him out by giving him Deebo Samuel.
Right.
And, it won him the game, right? So he won by 22 points, or no, Deebo scored 22, and I think Alex won by 20. So it was the difference in the game. I will say on Alex's behalf, it wasn't just that text to the group. He was texting me nonstop on the side, trying to trade players for me. He tried to get my tight end from Arizona. He was working the trade. I know he was talking to a few other people, Sean, trying to work it and trying to add some players. So I know he was working it. I can't imagine that he would get a deal as good as that one, though, to get Deebo Samuel right before the game started.
He won by 3 points.
He won by 3 points.
He did not win by 20. He only won by 3.
Okay. Sorry, I had that wrong. Deebo scored 22 and he won by 3. He needed almost all of those points. Right?
Yeah. He needed all of them. I just don't understand Adam's thought process. You're trading within your division, the guy that you're trying to stay ahead of. Why would you even help it? Why would you should step on his head. You should be like, no way in hell I'm giving you a trade offer. This is your bad, bro. It doesn't make any sense. Can you guys, does anybody else, I don't know. I don't get it.
If he believes in Hollywood and he thinks that there's too many mouths to feed in San Francisco, I could see it being a valid trade. We don't buy it as 49er fans.
No, I don't buy it
see it.
I don't see it as you got a guy coming off injury, and not just any kind of injury. It's a serious injury. And then you're also going to a team with he has a quarterback issue. You know what I mean? There's no telling if Murray's going to be back in this week or next week or the week after. And Colt McCoy is just serviceable. I mean, yeah, he won a game, but he didn't look good last night. So,
let's set aside the debate let's set aside the debate whether Hollywood is better than Deebo or not.
It just doesn't make
Adam's question in the thread. He said, I'm not a 49er fan. I look at the numbers, and then he called us kids. Go look at the numbers, kids.
Yeah.
Let's set that aside. Maybe I'll talk about that in my commish corrections. Maybe I'll actually give a breakdown of their stats between those two players. But really what I want to talk about right now is the 2 points you just brought up. Number one is that you're trading to a guy within your own division, the one guy that you're competing with, not only for the division lead, for that extra $200, but also for a bye week, which is going to be huge, right?
Yeah,
so you're giving that guy a free win and letting him stay up there with you. But number two, Hollywood is hurt. So even if you think that they're even trade, right? Hollywood didn't play the last 5 or 6 weeks. He didn't play this week, the week of the trade. He has a bye coming up in week 13. Do you really think they're going to bring him back in week 12 right before the bye?
I wonder if maybe Adam was just living by what he always preaches,
which is
chaos.
He
hasn't been talked about on the pod for a while. He shook it up. He did something. He's here in the middle of everything. Chaos. I love it.
Yeah, maybe Adam was just thinking to himself, how crazy would this be if I made this trade, riled everybody up, and then he comes out there and beats his big brother?
Is Dre still involved in this? Is he getting?
I'm not sure. I don't think Dre would have traded Debo.
So here's the other thing. So Adam and Dre, a couple of years back, so it must have been. Oh, it was last time when last time I was champion, 2019, gentlemen. Pretty recently compared to YouTube, by the way. But going into the playoffs, I needed a wide receiver, and Adam and Dre traded me for like peanuts, Devontae Parker. That was his good year where he was putting up fucking numbers, but they just didn't believe in him. So they traded somebody that really, really, really could have helped them out, helped any team out at that point, and he got me to the championship. So they're not scared to trade, or he's not scared to trade, even ones that don't necessarily make sense, because Nate, you said you were going to go look at the stats and maybe present them at the end. I don't think it has anything to do with stats in this kind of trade for Adam. I think it is, okay, if Hollywood's hurt, totally different story. But with Debo, it's a whole new team that he's been on all season long. His numbers are going to change. I think he just doesn't believe in Debo. He took a shot. He
had his best week this week of all the weeks. He put up the most numbers.
Not before he traded him.
Yeah, after.
He didn't know that.
Yeah.
No. Well, yes, but what I'm saying, he didn't know that. But it wasn't like he was scoring 5 and 6. He was still over double digits most every week that in. Hollywood Brown hasn't been playing for 5 or 6 weeks, so it's just I just question the validity of look at the numbers. Like the numbers don't add up to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the best at math. I'm not the best at math. I'm not the best at math, but
yeah. And Adams, he's had this attitude the last couple of weeks of suck it, nerds. I do whatever I want. Nobody can catch me. And
I love it. I love it.
And that's it's a fun attitude to have, and I'm sure he's having a lot of fun with it. But if we look at the next couple of weeks, okay, Alex is only 1 game behind him still. Adam has a ton of bye weeks coming up, including Hollywood Brown, bye week 13. In week 14, he's got Kamara and Olave on a bye week, right? So Adam's got some bye weeks to contend with.
Yeah.
He's playing Alex week 14 when he has those bye weeks. It's very possible that Alex catches him, passes him, flips the script, gets the bye. Adam has to play in the first round of the playoffs. And you know what? Hey, Adam's had some big wins, but he's not scoring the most points. I think he's number 4 in points this year, as opposed to Alex, who's number 1 or 2, and I'm right up there as well. Adam's pretty far back, not far back, but he's 4. It's very possible that Adam could be looking at a first round playoff exit because of this trade that he made. I could totally see it happening. So just something to keep an eye out for.
We'll watch and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely be watching because Adam's, after hearing this, Adam's not going to let us all hear the end of it if he's wrong or if we're wrong. If he's right.
I think it's funny how you nerds out there think he's joking.
You nerds.
I'm with you, Adam. Fucking nerds.
Oh, this guy breaking team, huh?
All right, guys. That's all I got later,
man.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, that's great.
You got more work to do, brother. Go.
Oh, what am I doing?
You're in the middle of your segment still.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I am still. That was too much fun, man. I got lost. Totally lost where we are. All right, man. So let's get down with the Guillotine League. In the main league, Randy is out, only putting up 92.5 points. From here on out, man, the guys that are dropped are just going to be amazing. But the thing is, you don't have to spend on them. There's so many good guys left. You can just pick them up on Friday for free. It's crazy. I spent all my money last week basically everywhere because I had that thought that, dude, these guys on the bench. I mean, Zeke passed 2 days of waivers and was free to pick up. I know he's not the best, but it's Zeke. I mean, come on.
He's no Pollard, but
Lamar Jackson, all these guys. Okay, so this week, main league is Burrows, Mixon, Pierce, Boyd, Hawkinson, Montgomery, Chase, and Juju. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, half that team I could take on my team. That'd be great. In the mid-season Gilly, Nate lost, only scoring 75.88 points, which is the low score for the whole season.
Yeah.
Took him 2 tries to get there in this league, but he got it. Actually had more points on his bench this week than his starting lineup.
Whoa.
So that sucks.
Damn, that's brutal.
When you only put up 75 points, that's,
Yeah.
So up for grabs are Josh Allen, Barkley, Mixon, CeeDee, Higgins, Dak, Josh Jacobs, Ayuk, and Waddle.
I think I'm just gonna take the whole team. I
You
still have
$1,000, dude. You could have that whole team.
I'm just gonna take the whole team.
Whole team.
No, my team's still doing really well. I don't
Are
need
you
to
going to
replace.
spend any of that damn money?
To your point, and to Nathan's point on this weekend when he was talking to me, he's like, "Bro, you waited too long. You don't really even need to spend it." He's like, "You could just pick them up off waivers." And I was like, "But I could though. I could drop $600 on." Mix in, I don't
Barkley
know.
has like the toughest schedule left, just so you know.
I need a wide receiver, I think.
Waddle then.
Yeah, I'll probably go after Waddle.
Or CeeDee. Or both.
But
yeah, dude. So, all right. That's Gilly.
The Gilly.
And yeah, I think at some point we need to bring in Bobby for the Dynasty broadcast or Dynasty segment.
Yeah, we'll do that right
Perfect.
Here.
In Dynasty this week, we had some big games go down with Nate taking down Bobby 190 to 154, taking Nate's record to 9-2. Bobby's now 6-5. Ben beat Steve 100 to 91, taking Ben's record to 9-2. Steve is now 3-8. Jeff beat Megan 127 to 91, taking Jeff's record to 5-6. Megan is also 5-6. Joe beat Matt 119 to 77, taking Joe's record to 7-4. Matt is now 6-5. Sean beat Adam 120 to 109, taking Sean's record to 5-6. Adam is now 4-7. Justin beat Dre 130 to 86, taking Justin's record to 6-5. Dre is now 1-10. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, that was Matt's Round the League recap. Thanks a lot, brother. That was fun.
Yeah, man.
And Nathan, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was a good segment.
Yeah, it was.
Hola, Degenerates. Esteba 2 millones por tu DFS lineup con martes 23 de noviembre. Okay, for the lineup is going to be this week for efectivo lineup con Turkey Day. We have for you Josie Allen, Tony Pollard, Romandre Estebanson, Calif Raimundo, Gabriel Davis, Amon-Ra Saint Maron, Dawson Knox, C. de Lamb con Nueva York Gigantes. Ok, Degenerates, lineup terminado, efectivo, con Por You y Telemundo dice audio y SAP. Adios.
All right, well, let's move it along to see how we did last week. All right, well,
the new name that I'm thinking about this is Matt versus the coin.
that's probably accurate. That's very accurate.
Last week, really boring. We both picked exactly the same. Me
Chalk.
and the coin did.
Yeah.
Yes, and we went 500, 3-3. So that takes you to a 21 wins, 31 losses for a 396 average. Takes me to 29-24, 547 average. And just so you know, brother, I'm keeping my name for now.
I knew
like
you
it.
would. I knew you would. I told Nathan, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps that name because it is a damn good name. That's a damn good name.
Excellent name. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I think this week's games are just as interesting. So we'll see. Let's move on to looking ahead. I love it. All right, guys. This week we're gonna start out with first game is Sean. He's 5-6, losing his last one. He takes on Nate, who's 6-4, who's lost four straight. Four straight, dude. Nate's favored 155 to 127. Historically, Nate has the 28-1 record against Sean. That is damn That is hot. I mean,
yeah, 20 wins to 8 wins with a tie. That is amazing. I think it's our biggest separation we've had yet.
Yeah, I think so. That's
pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
All right, well, I'm going to pick first this week.
Yeah, you're picking first this
week. You sent your picks in, Nate, because people or a person was giving a shit thinking there might be some cheating going on or copying or something.
Yeah.
So he actually efforted you to give him your picks ahead of time.
And I did.
Happened. So I'm going to do mine. Yours are already locked in. So on this one, I really, really, really want to pick Sean. I really do. I'm not going to, though. I take it.
You took Nate. All right. I took Sean to win this week. So there's our first mismatch.
Sorry, Sean. Do I have to the end of the segment to change it? I don't know.
Right. No.
All right. Second game of the week is Bobby at 4-7. He won last week, taking on the champ at 8-3. He's won 3 straight. Alex is favored 152 to 111. Bobby is coming off the high score of the week.
Yeah.
And historical is almost tied. Alex is up 14-13. On this one, same as I said last week, I'm going to stick the guy who's been doing it all season, and I'm going to go with Alex.
Yeah. Taking Bobby. Here we go. That's all 2 for 2. Look at us.
Right.
Look at us.
Oh, man, your choices would actually help me out, I think. All right, take third game.
Third game. Here we go. Adam at 9-2, winning 5 straight, guys. Takes on Matt, who's 4-6. His last, he also won his last 3. Adam's favored 124 to 121. This is a close one in the pre-game preview. And historically, Adam has the record 13-9 over you, brother. It's hard to pick against Adam, and the coin agrees. But who are you taking?
Oh, you'll see. I'll show you after it. I had Adam circled before. It is crossed out. I'm picking myself. I need this win to make the playoffs. I'm coming for you. 3 games up. 3 win streak, 3 games in a row. I'm coming for him.
All right. That's some confidence. I like the confidence.
Yeah,
I already said that Adam, the coin took Adam. So there you go. Moving on to the next game.
All right. Joe is 4-6, losing his last 2. Taking on Steve, who's 4-6-1, losing last week. Joe's favored 128 to 119, and head-to-head is tied at 10 games apiece with 1 tie.
How about that? Even their historical record has a tie.
Yep. So on this one, I'm taking Joe.
Yeah, I also took Joe. So
the coin agrees with me.
Yep. I think that's the first. Is that the first agreement? I think so.
Yes, it is.
All right. Next game. Justin, who's 5-6 after losing last week, is taking on Ryan, who's also 5-6 after losing 5 straight. Is that true? Holy moly. 5 straight, Ryan. Yep. Jesus, man. How do you get out of bed at night or in the morning? At night, it's a little different. Justin's favored 126 to 93. Historically, Justin has the record 13 wins to 10 wins, and they have 1 tie.
I'm taking Justin.
You're taking Justin? Did I? Oh, I'm also taking Justin to win. The coin knows.
Well, I think all know that one.
Yeah.
Even Ryan knows that one, it sounds like this week. He's changed his tune a lot from last week.
Wrap it up.
All right, so last game is Josh at 5-6. He lost last week, taking on Ben, 5-6. He's coming off a win. You currently are favored 131 to 109. Historical, you're up 14-9 with 1 tie.
Woo!
No, I'm not going to do it again. I take Ben.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're locked there, dude. I'm taking myself to win as well. The coin believes in me. So here we go.
Nice.
Yeah. That was it, man. I mean, that is so who'd you wait. So
I took Nate, Alex, myself, Joe, Justin, and you.
So we're 3 and 3. I took 3. You there. So that's good though, because last time this should lead to a winning record by somebody.
0-6.
Hell no. Your hand was flipped
it's
the other way.
It's the only low score you haven't got this year, right? An 0-6.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
We'll get you to hit for the cycle.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see how it goes. But that was us looking ahead.
Looking ahead.
All right, guys. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, your commish, Nathan with Commish's Corrections. Come on in, Nate.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
Welcome
in.
back.
Yes.
great to be back with you. Man, what a great week of football this was. Ben, man, I had so much fun on Sunday.
Dude,
For
so
anybody
much fun.
that doesn't know, Ryan came into town from Colorado. His girl had a softball tournament, which I actually got to go down and watch her play for a little bit. That was fun.
Nice.
We went out to dinner Friday night, had lots of drinks, had lots of fun, went bar hopping a little bit afterwards. And then on Sunday, Ryan came over for football. And, I put the bat signal out there. I said, Ryan's in town, come over, watch football. We had Ben show up. We had Sean. We had Jeff. We had Johnny.
Yeah.
And we had the ghost, Dre.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
I know
awesome.
Dre came after some of you guys left, but what a fun day of football that was. Even though I lost in this league, I would say it was probably one of the most fun Sundays we've had this year. So
Yeah, it was a blast.
That explains why my text responses are coming back so slowly that day.
yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Let me get into the corrections, guys. First, I have to correct myself. I think on a podcast maybe 2 weeks ago, I said that the trade deadline was Thanksgiving. It's actually not Thanksgiving. It's the night before Thanksgiving. So
okay.
by the time you're watching this podcast, the trade deadline might already been expired, depending on what time Ben gets it out.
Damn. I'm going to have to hurry.
so
I'm going to have to
Pressure,
hurry.
brother. Pressure.
Yeah.
If you can get that out quickly, Ben, the trade deadline is 9 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow night, Wednesday
All right.
night. And so that's of course we do it that way so that your teams are fixed and set. Once division play starts, there's no more collusion. There's no more. There's nobody that can mess you up at that point. So keep that in mind. I hope to do 1 or 2 more trades before then. Got a couple corrections here, Matt. Earlier on, I believe you said that both you and I dropped Jamal Williams, and I believe you called us big dummies.
Well, you traded me for
there's
Wandale
only
Robinson,
one
who
big dummy.
you dropped. But he was in the waivers, and you didn't pick him back up either. I mean,
Well, I actually drafted Jamal Williams. I like Jamal Williams. I thought he had potential
Ben
this
loved
year.
him when you drafted him. Remember?
Ben did love him when
Ben
I drafted
loved
him.
him.
I wanted it. I was so pissed I didn't get him when he was on waivers.
Yeah, I traded him to you for Wandale Robinson, who finally
Yep.
had a breakout game this week. 9 catches, 100 yards, and a torn ACL.
Did we each drop him like twice this year?
I dropped
I picked him
Wandale
up, dropped
once.
him. Okay,
Yeah, and then I
yeah.
picked him back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I held him for a couple of weeks, and then I actually dropped him Sunday morning.
I know, saw it.
Yeah, because I wanted to pick up Elijah Moore. I thought maybe them putting him in the slot, So I dropped Wandale, and then I was a little bummed out to see him doing the 9 catches, 100 yards. And Matt, you sent me a text to kind of rib me a little bit and bust my balls. And then immediately after you text me,
Yeah,
he went down.
yes, he did. Out for this season.
Poor Wandale.
Yeah, so we'll have to blame Matt for that one. Another correction here. Shoulda, woulda, Cobb. I mean, is this really fair, guys? Shoulda, woulda, Cobb. This guy hadn't played since week 6. And you know how many points he scored in week 6?
I don't know.
6.
He scored 1 point.
No.
Wait, he had a bigger game.
Yeah, that's not true. I don't believe that's true.
No.
He just had a
Cobb.
good game like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Check
That's not
yourself. Check yourself.
Randall Cobb.
Yeah, no, it was when they were overseas 4 weeks ago.
Randall Cobb has not played since week 6, and in week 6 he scored 1 point.
Either way, Joe, bad call.
So I mean, if you're in Joe's shoes, okay, you got Elijah Mitchell, right, who just came off of 89 rushing yards, right, the week before, and then he goes out and trades me to get Garrett Wilson. He traded Godwin to get Garrett Wilson, who had back-to-back 17-point performances. You really think he's going to bench these guys for Randall Cobb?
There should be a disclaimer on the segment that says we probably don't have the balls to do it either, but if you could have figured a way out, you could have won.
Wait, but in week 5, okay. He did have 1 point in week 6, but the week prior to that, he was double digits. He had 15 points or 16 points. So
Okay.
there was a week that he did perform well. It was just we were a little premature and
Hey, listen, I just got to defend my boy Joseph. He doesn't get enough love on these podcasts, so I got to stick up for him every once in a while. This guy knows what he's doing. Maybe
I
not
stand
in
by
Dynasty.
I stand by the clever name of shoulda woulda cob. Kaba. I still stand by it.
I got another correction for you, Matt. This one's involving me.
It's a good week.
When you guys were doing the last week's breakdown, you said, yeah, Nate's team, everybody underperformed. He had a bad week. My friend, I was the third highest score last week. The only two teams that could have beat me was the high score Bobby and the team that I played. Those are the only two teams that could beat
And
me.
as I say, it still counts as a loss, right?
Yeah, but
All right.
an
Still counts
underperforming
as a
loss,
loss.
I beg to differ, my friend.
All right. Hey, I just say it. It's not always true.
That's why this section exists.
Exactly.
You asked us to mess up some more. Well, here you go.
I appreciate that. It was a tough week for Justin. He only scored 97. The two main culprits, Tony and Rondale Moore, both got injured right at the beginning of the game. Both scored 0 points. It was, of course, bittersweet for me. Sweet because I have a bet with Justin. I won $50 in that bet.
Yep.
Bitter because I also had Kadarius Toney and Rondale Moore in the guillotine,
Yep.
which I paid $50 for that team. And so I guess Justin just paid for that team. That was actually, you guys busted my balls for having the low, all-time lowest score, but that was actually the Balky team. I didn't draft that team myself.
Oh, you had a week of waivers at your team, buddy. No.
For more than a week. We played the Balky
weeks.
team like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah,
You could've-
and I went out and picked up Josh Allen.
Yep. So that's your team. You own it. You own
Saquon
it.
Barkley. I mean, these are the guys. So same guys that Saquon, I guess, was on Justin's team too. So I guess him and I were lockstep on that. But thank you,
I
Justin,
hate those
for
weeks.
thank you, Justin, for buying my Balky team for me. I appreciate that. We talked in the previous segment about Adam, and I know we don't have to break out the breakdown between Debo and Hollywood, but Adam asked for it, right?
Yep,
put
he
the
did.
text.
He did.
Said, look at the numbers, nerds. Or he actually, in that one, I think he said, kids, look at the numbers. When you look at their numbers, by any objective measure, and by the way, these two guys are the same age. They came into the league at the same time. They got drafted the same year. I don't think you could argue who's had the better career. Of course, we know Debo's had the better career.
Yeah.
And if you look at their average points per game over their careers, Debo's been the better fantasy player. I think what Adam's talking about is this year, Hollywood's having a better year in points per game. Now, it's a small sample size. Hollywood only played 6 games before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, all 6 of those games, who wasn't there?
Hopkins.
Hopkins was not there. You look at these
But
targets.
also, Zach Ertz is out now. That's a lot more targets.
Yeah.
Kind of
True.
even themselves out a
Targets.
little bit.
Hollywood was having some games, I think, where he was getting targeted 17 times in
Yeah.
a game.
Yep.
You guys see how they use Hopkins. Do you think there's any chance in hell that Hollywood's seeing 17 targets again?
No, not again. No.
Not the target share, but if Kyler comes back, which it may be a couple weeks after their bye, I mean, think about it. With Ertz gone and with D-Hop there demanding the top coverage, he could have some huge boom weeks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
There's
I
that
agree.
possibility, and that might be what he saw.
And
you
didn't you
can
just
make that
say
same-
they lost Rondo Moore?
I don't think it's a long-term injury.
No,
though.
that he just
Yeah.
tweaked like a.
Oh,
groin.
okay.
So,
Which, although he has done it a lot, so maybe
Yeah,
it is.
and you can make the same argument for Debo. I mean, the reason Debo was so great last year was because all their weapons were hurt, right? The
True.
Niners lost their running backs, and a couple of wide receivers were hurt. So Debo actually last year averaged 22 points per game last year, which is far exceeding anything Hollywood's ever done. But like we talked about earlier, the jury's still out. We don't pay for past production. When you make a trade, you're trading for future production. If Adam believes that Hollywood's future production this year is going to be better than Debo's, who can argue that, right? The only doubt really is, does Hollywood play until the fantasy playoffs? I mean, we don't. I don't think he'll be back until week 14. And then can you even trust him in his first week back? I don't know. So
do you think the same thing about Kyler back same week?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, that's why Bobby made that trade with me. There was a report that came out a couple of days ago that said Kyler's a week to week. And once they said that he wasn't going to play this week, I text Bobby and I said, if he doesn't play this week, he's not playing week 12, because why would you bring a guy back for 1 week and then he has a bye week 13? They'll just sit him through the bye, right? So that's when Bobby was like, give me Deshaun Watson. I said, happy to. So that's why Bobby wanted Deshaun. We'll see how that turns out for him.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's interesting though. I did hear some notes on the Debo usage. Now that I'm pretty sure if you look, his numbers have ramped up a little bit since they got CMC, and I think it's because they're now able to use Debo in a way that they want to use him, not having to use him every down to because they have CMC to take those other things. So now you're going to see Debo being used in different creative ways, which I think is going to allow him to get more production and more points. So I would that's why, I mean, I know I'm coming from a Niners fan. I'm just saying that I if you take that out of it and just look at like the production and the numbers and everything, I just don't see Hollywood Brown having the same numbers that he had with D-Hop out, and I don't see him having the same production as Debo is going to have moving forward. So I don't know. I think Adam just solely, like you said, pure chaos, pure just whatever. That's just my opinion. I think it's kind of like a fuck you to the Niner fans in the league. You know what I mean? Like,
damn.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Ben. It was really creative the way that Kyle Shanahan used Debo and CMC last night.
Yeah,
it was using him sort of as a decoy to trick the defense. Which one's going to get the ball? It was a lot of fun to watch. But there's going to be weeks where Debo is silent, and you're not going to get any fantasy points out of him because there's so many weapons on that team, right? And I think that's where Adam's coming from. He's saying, 1 week it's going to be a Debo week, the next week it's going to be a CMC, the next week it's going to be a Kittle. So who knows? And in his opinion, he thought Hollywood was the better player for him. So who can fault him for that?
Shit, it could be Ayuk the rest of the way.
Yeah, well, Ayuk's been their best wide receiver all year.
I know.
He really has.
I was about to pose the question: is Ayuk the better receiver going forward than Debo? Debo's a great football player, and he has great running skills, and he's tough and he's gritty. I think could be a better receiver.
I think Debo's a better all-around player, and I think Ayuk is just a bigger, taller target. So he's going to get used in the red zone and stuff like that. That's why you see 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. He's not getting production outside of that. He's getting 2 touchdowns from 2 receptions. He's not getting used the way Debo is getting used. You know what I mean? Because he's not the weapon that Debo is. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and here we are making this a 49er podcast again, but
whatever.
An important note though, Ayuk was drafted in the first round. Debo was drafted as a second round player. So Ayuk has the higher draft capital.
Great.
Ayuk had, objectively probably a better college career, right? He put up great stats. He's a better route runner than Debo. So, I mean, they both have their skill sets, but I think Ayuk is the better receiver, right? Yeah. He's in his third year. That's typically when wide receivers break out, and I think we're seeing that this year. So, I mean, they're both awesome weapons. It'll be interesting to see, if they can afford to keep them both around for the long term.
We can't.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, so I'm going to start a new segment. It is called Lobbying the League or Lobbying the Commish for fucking rule changes. I always want rule changes. This week, I want, in Dynasty, I want the waivers to be open Sunday morning. I want to be able to fill your team if you get a concussion in the middle of the week, if you need a tight end, you got an injury, COVID, whatever. COVID's kind of old, but whatever. I would like it open Sunday mornings.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Let me answer that with 2 responses. Okay. Number 1, the waiver wire sucks. There's nobody on the waiver wire. Okay. There's not anybody that if you're going to go there Sunday morning and you're looking for somebody to fill in, go look at it right now. I mean,
so
you're not
why would it matter to leave it closed? Okay.
So the second thing I'll say is this: as far as CBS league settings are concerned, we have 2 options. I can either have the option where you run waivers, and then after waivers run, everybody's a free agent, and then it's that way the rest of the week. Or I can do the option where there's a checkbox. After waivers, nobody's a free agent, right? And then you have to wait till the next waiver run. And so we don't have the option to kind of do it that they're all locked up all week and then only on Sunday morning it opens. That's not even an availability unless I go in manually every Sunday and change it, which
I'd be fine with that. Okay.
Why? Wait, time out. What's the argument for not having them just open after the waivers run?
I was going to go with that. Yeah. During the season only. I get having them closed in the off season. That makes sense because nobody follows like some of us do. But during the season, I don't see why not.
I went to pick up a tight end in fantasy or in Dynasty this week, and I couldn't pick anybody up on Sunday. Everybody was locked on waivers.
Yeah.
I was just like,
that's,
what
that's
the
something that came up when we created the Dynasty League that some of the people mentioned. I know Joe specifically, that they didn't have the bandwidth to dedicate a lot of man hours to this league. and they don't want to be put at a competitive disadvantage. So they were actually arguing for either no waivers at all season, which is what Joe wanted, or very limited waivers, right? 1 night a week, and then everybody's locked. So that way he's not at a competitive disadvantage. He just has to dedicate 1 night a week to put in his claims.
I'm going to make the argument that the amount of time you assholes spend on this thread, everybody has time. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so can I proposition a rule change myself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you gonna back this one?
I'll back you if you can get the votes. Yes.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm down. I would rather have waivers open
for
that exactly what I just said.
We're halfway there. All right.
For the main league, as you guys know, I'm not getting any younger. Okay. I don't get to do as much of the manual intervention that I used to do as a commissioner. I like a lot of things to be automated these days if I can, right?
Right.
One thing you'll notice, that little feature on our website where you can go look at the playoffs?
Uh-huh.
Kind of cool, and you can see who are the 6 people that are in, who are the 6 people that are out. You notice that didn't used to be there?
Yeah.
It didn't used to be there, not because that's a brand new CBS feature. It didn't used to be there because we used to always just have it set where I would just go and put in the playoffs for you guys.
Yeah.
So the playoffs weren't fixed, and then at the end of the regular season, I would go in and set our playoff matchups, right? This year, I tried something different. I said, let the site set up the matchups for me. But when I do that, it puts 6 in the playoffs, and it puts 6 in the loser bowl. This whole vote that only 4 should be in the loser bowl is actually going to require that I go in and do a manual change again. I have to go in and put only 4 in the loser bowl instead of 6 in the loser bowl. It's just added work for your commissioner.
I think that is the cost of getting your own segment on the podcast. Just deal with it, buddy. We voted. The league has spoken.
Well, there is one uncounted vote, right? Only 11 people have voted, so we need that.
Do you know who that is? Can you see that on your side?
No,
it's probably me. Let me go look at that after this and see if I need to vote.
I'm voting for a 6-team loser bowl. That's what I want. All 6 of you, if you don't make the playoffs, you're in the loser bowl.
It could be you too.
Yeah, buddy. You and your 5-game losing streak.
If I make the loser bowl, I'm fine. Even if I'm the top seed. Because I'm not going to lose 3 weeks in a row. I'm not going to lose 3 weeks in a row in the loser bowl. No way.
You just lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, did I play Ryan every week?
It doesn't matter. You lost 4 in a row. You could easily lose 3 in a row.
Hey, speaking of losing 4 in a row, guys, I want to tell you guys something, and it's a thought that I had.
Hey, get out of soapbox! I want to see him.
It's a thought that I had it's a thought that I had while I was watching football yesterday on the couch. I'm on a 4-game losing streak. Ryan's on a 5-game losing streak. These are tough times, and as you guys know, one of my other hobbies besides fantasy football is I like to play a lot of poker tournaments. Cash games are fun too. I have fun with you guys playing cash, but really my passion is tournaments, right? It's what I really enjoy doing. And I found that there's a lot of parallels between fantasy football and a poker tournament. And what I mean is this. Right now, I feel like I'm right dead smack in the middle of a tournament, and I've been card dead for hours, which happens. Sometimes you'll go 2-3 hours without seeing a single good hand, and that's where I'm at right now. I just, every once in a while I'll take a little stab at the pot, but as soon as the flop comes out, I'm drawing dead, right? And when I say stab at the pot, I'm picking up waivers, I'm making trades, but the week comes, I'm drawing dead, right? And it can be tempting at this point in the season to just shove all my chips in the middle of the pot with like low suited connectors, 4 or 5 of clubs, right? And I believe that's kind of what Ryan did, right? Ryan just got sick and tired of being card dead. He's losing every week. He said, fuck it, I'm going all in. You have to really kind of be patient though. You have to say to yourself, now is not the time to shove it all in. I got to be patient. I just have to remember I still have a good stack of chips. And by a good stack of chips, I mean I'm still in first place in my division. I still got good players.
Wrap it up, buddy.
Right? Still got a good stack of chips. I just got to be patient. The good cards are coming. It's only a matter of time. I just got to sit back and wait. Luck's going to come my way. And that's all I got for you this week, guys. Commish corrections.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, Nate. Appreciate you, bud. I was wondering how long you were going to let that go, bro.
Longer than I wanted to. I'm patient. And really longer than I wanted to.
Oh, God, dude. That was your commission's corrections for the week. Oh, man. This was so much fun, man. Guys, tune in next week for even more of this hilarity, dude. It's so good. That was it for your Degenerate Breakdown.
See you next week.
Yep.